I'm Robert Evans, Sony Artisan of Imagery. In this video, you will learn about arranging the wedding day photography timeline. So let's now break the wedding day down into times of day and sections of things that you will shoot on the wedding day. So the way I like to photograph the wedding is start about 4 hours ahead of time. So let's imagine that we have a 6 o'clock ceremony. I will start at 2 o'clock with getting ready. So from 2 to 3, I'm photographing the bride, her bridesmaids, getting ready. At 3 o'clock, then the two people that I want ready are just the bride and groom, and we'll find a private area and we'll do first look. And then I'll photograph them for an hour after that. At 4 o'clock, then I ask that the immediate family and the bridal party be ready. Moms and dads, brothers and sisters, bridesmaids and groomsmen. And then I photograph each of them with their sides of the family. And then at 5 o'clock, 1 hour prior to the ceremony, I ask that the extended family and special friends be ready. So aunts, uncles, cousins. Special friends would include maybe sorority sisters, godparents, people that may not be in the family, but that we want to make sure that we get special images of. I like to at least finish maybe 30 or so minutes prior to ceremony so that the bride and groom have time to go back and freshen up makeup, get a drink of water, relax a little bit. And then that's the time when I put myself with the bride as we lead up to the ceremony. The biggest purpose of getting the photographs done ahead of time is I tell them this. When you kiss and say I do and walk down the aisle, that's the point in the day when all the stress and the anxiety of planning your wedding for an entire year goes right out the window. And what are you going to want to do? And I sort of pause and look at them, and their answer is, well, go party and be with our friends. And I say, exactly. I want you to be able to kiss, walk down the aisle, and go be a part of your cocktail hour. You'll have an entire hour extra to spend with all those guests that have come from hundreds of miles away. So the first thing, of course, is getting ready. You show up in the morning, the bride and her bridesmaids are getting ready, there's hair and makeup people in the room. During shooting getting ready, I'm either shooting my 6300 or an A7S II. I have a 90mm macro 2.8 with me to shoot the ring shots. I have a 24 to 70 to shoot kind of just overall candids in the room. And occasionally I'll shoot with my 85 1.4 capturing images if I want to get in a little closer, but I don't want to be right on top of anybody. For me, this time is a very candid time. I try not to get in the way. I try to stay out of the way. I want to photograph the moments of her getting the makeup on, touched up, getting the veil on, those type of things. But almost more importantly are the moments that are happening in the room, her interacting with her girls, her mother, the laughter, the nerves. So those are the things I'm looking for. The other thing that I'm going to be shooting here are details. I'm going to be shooting the dress, the rings, any other jewelry, and her shoes that she'll be wearing that day. So I want to make sure that all those things are there and ready for me in the room when I show up. And I arrive to hair and makeup about an hour before first look, so I have plenty of time to sort of just play and spend time shooting the rings, grabbing candids in between, shooting the dress, the veil. So it makes it for a relaxing environment, not just for myself, but for the bride as well. So during getting ready, the features that I find myself using on my Sony cameras are, of course, always EVF, the electronic viewfinder. That is so helpful when I'm, adjusting lighting and exposure, articulating screen. Maybe I want to get creative. And again, I don't want to be that photographer that lays on the middle of the floor and a bunch of girls in a hotel room. So I'll use the articulating screen. I focus manually a lot, so focus peaking. Focus peaking is super helpful, especially when I'm shooting my rings with a 90mm macro. That focus is very critical, and so even without looking through the camera, I can see where the focus is on that diamond or those rings, which is very, very helpful. I've found over the years that hair and makeup tends to run late. So one of the things that I tell my brides is to lie to their hair and makeup people and tell them that they need to be ready 1 hour prior to the time that they actually do. So going back to our 6 o'clock hypothetical ceremony time, first look would be at 3. So I suggest to the bride that you tell hair and makeup 2. And I say, if she's done or if they're done with you at 2 o'clock, you and I both know what the real time is. So enjoy yourself, sit around with your girls, drink champagne, tell stories. There's no rule that says your wedding day has to be one stressful moment to the other. I do my best to set up the day and the photography timeline so that it's fun and relaxing for everyone, including myself. Another really important tip, learning the bridesmaids and the groomsmen's names while you're shooting getting ready. So this is how I'm in the room, I'm shooting the bridesmaids because I'm usually the one shooting the bride. I'm listening to their names. I've introduced myself to the girls. Hi, I'm Robert. Granted, if you have a wedding party of 15 girls, that's pretty hard to do, but it doesn't matter. Even if you say one or two of their names. So a lot of times as I'm doing the group shots, I'll say, hey, Lisa, could you scoot over a little bit? And you see them look at you. You see them go, wow, he knew my name. And that really adds a lot to your credibility and makes people like you. One of the things that I spend a lot of time doing is educating my couples on the wedding day. And a big topic usually always is first look and them seeing each other prior to the ceremony. First look, of course, is the first time the groom is going to see the bride in her dress on the wedding day. I get about 90% of my couples to see each other before. And of course, that goes along with what we've talked about on educating them on the wedding day and making them see why that's the better alternative. So in the scenario of first look, I'm usually always shooting with my 24 to 70. I do that because I want the flexibility of to be close when I want to be close and a little wider if I need to be wider when he first walks up. I want to be able to get in tight and shoot faces and emotion, but I don't want to be right on top of them. I want to give them as much privacy and as much intimacy as possible. I usually don't have a preconceived idea of where I'm going to do first look. Once I know the bride's pretty close to being done or she's dressed and ready, I'll then run out of the room and go out and scout a location for first look. Maybe I've noticed something on my way in, but here's the criteria that I use when I'm picking a first look location. First and foremost, I look for a location where they have complete privacy. Second, I'm looking for that location, like, is it pretty? Are there flowers? Open shade a lot of times if I'm outside, and then that of course leads into light. I also want there to be beautiful light. If all I can get is privacy, then I'm going to shoot first look a little tighter. I'm going to focus on my couple's faces when I don't necessarily have the best location or the best light. Once I've picked the location of where I'm going to do the couple's first look, I take the bride there first. I do this because I want her set and situated, fluff her dress, make her look pretty, and I tell her to stay put. I want him to walk to her. This way she's not dragging her dress across grass or concrete or wherever I choose to do first look. I talk to each couple, I talk to the bride and I talk to the groom, and I basically tell them the same thing. I say, this is your moment. I want you to say hello to each other, spend as much time as you want, and then once you're done saying hello, then we'll start your portrait session. So they've seen each other, they've said their hello, 5-10 minutes have gone by, they turn and look at me like, now what? One of the things that I do is called the parent portraits. I shoot full lengths, half shots of the bride and groom, very traditional photography, and I do this for the parents. So I have them put their arms around each other, heads together, give a little hug, half shot, full shot, turn, face each other, arms around each other, cheeks together, and I get the sort of traditional parent portraits done and out of the way so I can go on and be creative. I have now an entire hour to walk around with them around the location and take pictures. So during this session, I'm going to tend to use my favorite lenses. I still might have the 70-200 on. At some point, I'm going to switch to the 85 G Master 1.4 because it's one of my favorite lenses. But you never know. We're walking around and I see this incredible architecture and I need a wide lens. So I'm going to switch to a wide. I'm going to switch to my 35 1.4, or if I need even wider, I'm going to switch to my 16-35. The best part about this is they're excited to see each other. They're relaxed. The butterflies are sort of gone and the nerves from seeing each other for the first time. And we can sort of now walk around and just have fun. I've probably picked out places or locations that I want to use or think about shooting. And sometimes stuff just comes to me in the moment. The way I shoot my couples is very sort of loose and relaxed. I like to watch them. I like to watch how they're reacting with each other. I'll suggest things like go stand over there against that wall, and I'll sort of watch how they pose or how they come together. And then I may refine it a little bit so that it's flattering, but a lot of times I let my couples sort of fall into poses or situations that's comfortable to them. They do it a lot better than I could tell them to do in most cases. Now it's 2 hours prior to the ceremony, and so now it's time to transition into immediate family and bridal party. I'm immediately going to switch lenses. Most likely I'm going to use my 24-70 2.8 G Master, my 85 1.4 G Master, and sometimes the 35 1.4 for larger group shots. I use the 85 for my smaller groups, meaning my bride with each of her bridesmaids or the groom with each of his groomsmen. Once I get to 2, 3, 4 people in a shot, I'm probably going to switch to the 24-70. And then anything larger than that, once I get like 10 or so more people, I'm going to switch to the 35. Another tip that I offer to my bride and grooms is lying to their families as well as lying to their hair and makeup about when they need to be ready. So I generally suggest to them about 30 minutes or so prior to the actual time that I want them there so that I can call them up. It can go very smooth and systematically. So I take the big group, I have her 2 or 3 brothers and sisters come out. I have the parents, so the bride with just her parents, mom and dad. I take that picture. Dad comes out, bride and mom. I put dad back in, bride and dad. Systematically, I'll go through them one at a time, and I try to keep it quick and I try to keep it fast. Put your arms around each other, give each other a little hug, smile, click, next. Now we're done with her immediate family. Here's another really great tip when you're doing family pictures to get them to smile naturally is to hug. They will naturally smile when they hug and you take the photo. If I have the bridesmaids and the groomsmen and the immediate families all together right there, I can get through this photo session in probably 15 minutes tops. Because I move quickly, I keep it fun, I'm interacting with them. So now we've gotten through the immediate family, the bridal party. I photographed each, the bride with her side, the groom with his side. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to photograph the extended family and the special friends. And again, what I mean by extended family, aunts, uncles, cousins, spouses of brothers and sisters, and their kids. Special friends might be sorority sisters, godparents, people that might not be in the family, but the bride and groom feel that it's important enough to get nice photos with them. I ask that those special friends be there an hour early because a lot of times these are the people that say, well, we'll get that at the reception. And what I'm trying to avoid is chasing the bride and groom and those people around at the reception saying, you wanted that picture of your sorority sisters. And now that we've photographed all the family members, bridal party, special friends prior to the ceremony, when I see them again during cocktail hour or reception, I can concentrate on those people because I know those people are important to the bride and groom. In this video, you learned about arranging the wedding day photography timeline,